And there are two types of images, and we've got to start using respectful images rather than the big bottoms and the big bellies. We need to start showing people with obesity in normal situations so that they are normal, but they do have a problem. You know, there usually is a big McDonald's cup or something, you know, in these pictures. How about prevention? I think a D. We think about prevention, but we haven't done much. So we should be treating obesity over here rather than treating the disease, preventing obesity. And we can have plans. We have social marketing campaigns, you know, you make healthy normal as ours. There's Live Lighter and Toxic Fat, where they show all the fat inside the abdomen as you go to get a can of Coke out of the fridge. But one of the problems with this is it makes people believe that obesity is their fault and their total responsibility. We should be doing targeted prevention in children and those with diabetes, and we need a whole range of interventions. And we need to monitor what we do. And we've been going, this is where I started in this. This is Australia's first plan. It came out in 1995. It had a large number of recommendations. How many did the government implement? So I'll tell you, it had 143 recommendations. How many did it in various age groups? How many did the government implement? Give me a figure. 10. 0. In the UK, they're doing these sort of things. You know, this is at Birmingham railway station. They're saying, you know, obesity reduction helps prevent cancer. You know, these are the programs. And even in China, they've been working on increasing incidental exercise. How about policy? Well, again, we did too hard. So we've done an F. And some of the things we should be doing are advertising, taxes perhaps, menu labelling, food safety and food provision. They're relatively easy, and if we could do them, we would do things. The sugar-sweetened beverage tax has come in Mexico, and there's been reduction in purchases, but more in low-income houses, increase in water, and no change in employment. The UK, when they are bringing it in, it's resulted in reformulation. In the United States, there are lots of places where it is, and Saudi Arabia has just brought it in, 50% tax, so they don't drink alcohol, 50% tax on sugar-sweetened beverages, 100% tax on energy drinks, and they're using it to promote childhood obesity programs. In Australia, we've done menu labelling, and 8,700 is what you need per day if you're a 70-kilogram, 20-year-old male, right? They chose a figure. And the New South Wales government required, it's the only legislation that, once it was presented, it's the only legislation that has ever passed through both houses of Parliament unanimously, right? So if it's there, if we present it to them, the politicians will act on it. We've just got to get it to them. And so you're obliged to say the price and how much energy is in the food. And we did a study at it, and we took people as they were coming out and said, did you notice the menu labelling? Did it influence your choice? Can we have your docket? And what we found was there was, over the time, a 519 kilojoule, 125 calorie reduction in what was purchased. Now that was while we had the advertising program, but the government, of course, funded it for 3 years and then it stopped. They've got to keep these things going. That menu labelling is still there. There's a whole list on the World Obesity website if you want to know about things. And guidelines, they need to be produced. This is ours. It's old, finished last year. They can be costly. And the big problem with guidelines is they use evidence from outside for this country, and that doesn't work. You need your own data. So there is a role for policy for government: recognition, policy, regulation, prevention, guidelines and monitoring. And we failed.